In front of the War Council, Crow Tainer Grimm stood, wrinkles etched deep against his worn face. His uniform's metals glittered faintly in the dim light of the room surrounding him. There was a palpable excitement in the air, and the shimmering buzz of interstellar maps illuminated the prestigious leaders. Crow's voice began to reverberate across the room. "I've stepped on resonant battlefields and engaged in 50 skirmishes on the front lines. Let me tell you, do not undervalue Earth." General Voer smirked, openly mocking Crow with a dismissive wave. Clad in his formal armor adorned with intricate artwork, Voer's voice dripped with arrogance. "A primitive planet," he scoffed. "Their technological advancements are centuries behind ours. This will be a swift victory." Crow's eyes hardened. "We shouldn't fear their technology, but rather their resourcefulness, their survival instinct. I've seen it firsthand. Their soldiers adapt, turning their own shortcomings into deadly traps." But Voer dismissed him, turning to the gathering. "We'll start the invasion immediately. The Galactic Empire's legacy will not be questioned by baseless warnings." The council members exchanged uneasy glances, a chill running down their spines. Crow, however, knew the price of arrogance. He prepared for what he feared would be an unprecedented war. Emily Stone, the Earth captain, adjusted her combat vest. As her sharp gaze swept over the rugged terrain, the sky above was a swirling tapestry of orange and blue, a stark prelude to the impending conflict. Lieutenant Marks approached, his voice tight with concern. "Captain, the Imperial fleet will arrive within the hour." Emily's thoughts raced. "Everyone, listen up. This isn't a conventional battle. Fight as we've drilled. Hit and run." As the first hostile vessels breached the atmosphere, causing a tremor in the air, Emily's squad readied their ground defenses. Outnumbered and outgunned, they relied on their knowledge of the terrain. Every secret trail and hidden cave passed down from their ancestors. Imperial troops advanced with precision, their movements filled with the confidence of those who had never tasted defeat. From her vantage point, Emily watched, her finger hovering over the detonator. "Wait for it. Wait," she whispered. When the soldiers stepped into the hidden minefield, she pressed down hard. Explosions ripped through the alien ranks, throwing the enemy into chaos. Her squad unleashed a devastating barrage from their concealed positions, vanishing into the dense woods before the stunned Imperial soldiers could recover. Meanwhile, at the Imperial base, General Voer seethed. "This is an unforeseen setback," he thundered, pacing the command tent. Commander Kura entered cautiously. "General, the humans are exploiting the terrain to their advantage. Our heavy weapons are useless in these dense forests. I recommend we adapt our—" "Enough!" Voer interrupted with a glare. "Prepare. The next wave. Use brute force. I want no survivors." Kura saluted reluctantly, his mind racing. He could see the disastrous path they were heading down, but had no power to stop it. As night fell, Emily gathered her squad around a tattered map. "They'll come back stronger," she said, her tone resolute. "We must keep them off balance. Marks, take your team to the northern ridge. Rig tomorrow's passes with bombs. Sergeant Hawk, handle resupplies." "We're running low," Hawk admitted, worry etched in his voice. Emily nodded. "We'll make do with the hidden caches. Remember, this is our home. We know it better than they ever will." Her squad nodded, their spirits lifted by her unshakable confidence. Under her leadership, they were ready to defend Earth, no matter the odds. As the days passed, the Imperial campaign faltered. Kara, now acting as a double agent, relayed crucial intelligence to Emily. Each piece of information gave the Earth resistance an edge, allowing them to set ambushes and avoid Imperial traps. Voer, unaware of the betrayal, grew increasingly frustrated. "How do they keep anticipating our moves?" he roared during a strategy meeting. "We must have a traitor among us." His counselor suggested drastic measures, but Voer dismissed him. "Prepare the Omega Protocol," he ordered. The Omega Protocol, A devastating orbital strike was the Empire's last resort. It promised annihilation, not victory. On Earth, Emily prepared her squad for what she hoped would be the turning point. Using Kara's information, they staged a daring counteroffensive. They lured the Imperial forces into a narrow valley rigged with explosives. "Stay sharp," Emily commanded. "This is our one shot to change the tide." As the Imperial army advanced, confident in their strength, Emily's signal detonated the explosives. The valley erupted in flames, trapping the invaders in chaos. Earth's forces descended with precision, taking advantage of the confusion to deliver a decisive blow. Back at the Imperial base, Voer's fury boiled over. "There's a leak!" he shouted. "Find the traitor! I want their head!" Kara knew his time was running out. Despite the risk, he continued feeding vital intelligence to Emily. He had made his choice to betray the Empire for the chance to save countless lives. With each victory, the Earth resistance grew stronger. Emily's leadership and Kara's covert aid turned the tide of the war. The Imperial forces, once thought invincible, crumbled under the weight of their hubris. In one final act of defiance, Kara relayed the Empire's ultimate plan, a massive offensive aimed at Earth's command center. Emily set a trap, turning the Empire's strength against them. When the dust settled, the once mighty Imperial fleet lay in ruins. The Galactic Empire's campaign against Earth had failed. Crow-Tenor Grimm stood in his quarters, the weight of his decisions pressing heavily on him. He had betrayed the Empire, but he had saved a world. "This is only the beginning," he murmured, his gaze fixed on the stars, indicating both a state of desperation and a disregard for the unintended consequences. The planet Corée was aware that he couldn't permit it. To move forward with his subsequent activities would not only decide Earth's destiny, but also demonstrate his deceit. He needed a strategy, and a speedy one. Earth rejoiced in their arduous victory, unaware of the bigger threat hovering over them. Emily, as she went over her lieutenants in the aftermath, remained cautious. "Stay alert," she warned. "They'll be coming back at us with everything they've got." True to her words, the Empire mobilized its orbital platforms, preparing for a major attack. Kell, in a last-ditch effort, reached out to Emily one final time. "The circumstances have gotten worse," he cautioned her over a secure line. His voice was tense. "They're preparing to attack with the Omega Protocol. You need to act now." Emily's voice, though heartbreaking, stayed composed. "Understood," she replied, sincerely grateful, as Earth's authorities rushed to evacuate and disperse. Meanwhile, Kra carried out his most audacious maneuver. While still having access to the orbiting control systems, he initiated a false aiming coordinate sequence, rerouting the approaching attacks to the Gambit's uninhabitable areas. Immediately, alarms flashed across the Imperial Command Center. "Why are the orbital platforms malfunctioning?" Panic crept in. Kora stood unwavering in the face of turmoil, his voice steady. "Have you been vanquished, General? By your own conceit, not by coercion." Security personnel hurried to the command center, focusing their armaments on Kell. He was arrested after his final command. Yet, his expression was one of relief, not dread. The opposition to the orbital strikes was successful. The attacks launched but only impacted abandoned landscapes. Earth's evacuation forces observed from a safe distance. Emily watched the distant blasts with a mixture of triumph and sorrow. They were spared, but at a significant personal expense. In the aftermath, as the Empire struggled to recover from disgrace and the surprise of their foiled act of genocide, Earth utilized the opportunity to strengthen its defenses. Kell was imprisoned, his long road to peace beginning. His own tribe came to represent the bravery to oppose oppression. Among those who risked everything, his actions became a legend. The Galactic Senate convened. General Voer, once a powerful figure whose name demanded respect, now stood before their wrath. General Voer, the Emperor declared, his voice reverberating through the austere chamber. You have brought this empire to its knees with your careless behavior. How do you describe the disastrous failures against a supposedly weaker adversary? Voer's typical mask of confidence faltered. My actions, he stammered, were in the best interests of the Empire. Earth's opposition was stronger than anticipated. The Omega Protocol was our only remaining option. The Emperor leaned forward, his eyes piercing. And yet, it was prevented. We have evidence suggesting internal sabotage. What say you to that? Before Voer could reply, the chamber doors opened. A team of military leaders escorted Quara into the room. Though unkempt, his stance was unyielding. This, an official announced, is the traitor. Quara raised his eyes, meeting the gazes of the gathered senators. I did what was required to stop a genocide, he said in a booming voice that silenced the room. Your general's plan would have turned Earth into a wasteland. I could not stand by and let our empire commit such crimes. Whispers filled the chamber as senators weighed Quara's words against the actions of a once reliable general. The Emperor raised a hand to silence the commotion. Your approach has failed, General Voer, and your reputation is tarnished. What justification do you offer against charges of tyranny? Cornered, Voer looked at Quara with desperation. Traitor! He spat. Quara remained composed. Ask yourself, he said, his voice steady, why I would betray you if our strategy for this conflict was just. From the beginning, this war was misguided. The chamber erupted into heated debate. Quara's defense of Earth's sovereignty split the Empire's ideology, exposing rifts in its dominance. Back on Earth, Emily monitored the trial from a communication hub. Her second-in-command approached. We should prepare, they said. If Quara's words sway the Senate, this could be a genuine opportunity for peace. Emily nodded.